This is Musings and Counsel from London Baker Law with Debbie London Baker.
And you can find out more about London Baker Law. They're regulars right here on this show, the Ask the Expert Show. It's londonbakerlaw.com. They are Tampa probate and estate planning attorney. And let's dig right into it, Debbie. What is a last will and testament? And what are some of the things that should be remembered when considering doing a will?
Okay, a will is a basic piece of an estate plan, and it doesn't come into any use whatsoever until after your marriage ends in death or you die, as Mark was saying. But it's the document in which you tell people what you want done, how you want your assets distributed, and to whom, and who you want in charge of doing that. And the essential piece of getting it done is, I've said before that estate planning is about sparing your family grief. If you hate your family, don't do it. Just leave them to their own devices and they'll dislike you even more. But if your family matters to you, it's really important to put the document in place. It will lay out who you want your assets to go to, financial, homes, that kind of thing. It'll lay out if you want assets to be distributed at a later time to grandchildren or whatever. And it will lay out who you want to have handle that, which a lot of people think it needs to be a family member or a spouse. And in any legal document involving an estate, the person you assign has to be the one that will follow your wishes. I've run into a lot of families where siblings don't speak to each other. In fact, I'm going to meet with somebody tomorrow where two of the siblings don't speak to the other two. I don't know that I would appoint any of those four people to represent me in a will because I wouldn't be sure that all four would be treated equitably.
There you go. Let me stop you real quick because I think a lot of people initially, when you mention last will and testament, just saying that, I think most people and a lot of our listeners, and somebody's driving down 275 right now and immediately shuts off because they're like, wow, but I don't have a bunch of money that I need to have distributed, so this doesn't apply to me. Right. I'm just going to die peacefully and, go on into eternity. But that's not the case.
No, not at all the case. The thing that I've learned is if you have $500 in the bank, you have an estate because that's a beneficiary designation. But let's just say you die and somebody who you care about needs access to that $500 to do something, buy flowers for a funeral or something. If you don't have that bank account designated so somebody can get at it,
it could be tied up in...
Well, if that's all you had, there's no point in doing a probate because that's going to cost you $2,000. But if you had it beneficiary designated, somebody could have instant access to the $500. So people think there are three superstitions. Let's see. I don't have anything, which is the one you mentioned. I'm too young, or I love the third one, that I'll die as soon as I do this. That this will be my death knell.
Isn't that weird?
Yes, very weird.
Think that. I know that's
because
crazy.
People buy life insurance with the idea of helping their families cope in the aftermath of a death.
Sure.
Right? Well, your estate plan is the same idea, and I don't have nomenclature to label it something other than last will. But I've been doing this only for 7 years, and the tragedies that come across my phone or my desk on a weekly basis are ones that nobody would have wished on their family if they love them, and they leave them not able to grieve. So that last will, whether it's $500 or you only rent an apartment, but you have a car,
Yeah, but maybe you also, what about all that stuff that you've collected over the course of your life that maybe doesn't have tremendous dollar value, but has some sentimental value? Doesn't that play a role too?
It does. Yeah. It does. And I've recommended to all my clients since I started that, even somebody as young as you, Mark, if you have anything that you can bear it apart with now, give it away for two reasons. One, the sentimental reason is give it to somebody who will enjoy it now.
And you can see the smile on their face.
And you can see the smile on your face. The calculated reason is if it's not in your home, people can't argue about it. If that and it doesn't have, you mentioned you'd like more time to read. So if you and I were good friends and you owned a book that I hadn't been able to find, or I'd read at your suggestion, you'd loan me one. That would be the kind of thing I would say, well, can I have your copy of XYZ?
Sure.
And people say they don't have anything worth. It's not the value; it's the sentimental value to the people who care about you. So for those listening, if you have anything right now you want to give to somebody and you're willing to part with it, I don't care whether it costs you a nickel or $500,000. If you can bear to get rid of it, give it to that person for their own personal enjoyment.
And let them enjoy it now. You can see it.
You can see. And right.
How nice is that?
This has been Musings and Counsel from London Baker Law. Learn more at londonbakerlaw.com. Thanks for listening.